My name is Patrick Haack. I'm a professor of strategy and responsible management in the Department of Strategy, Globalization and Society in HEC Lausanne. I did my bachelor master's studies actually in political science. I then did a PhD at the University of Zurich in organizational management studies. And then I moved almost 10 years ago to HEC Lausanne as an assistant professor, now being promoted. Well, it is broadly about organizational management theory, more specifically about legitimacy, which can be defined as a generalized perception that an organization or an organizational practice is appropriate to its social context. And it's very important for organizations because only if an organization, such as a company, is perceived as legitimate, it will get access to resources. Investors are willing to buy shares of that company, and young talents like graduate students are interested and willing to apply to these companies, right? So legitimacy is really a necessary condition for companies and other types of organizations to survive and to grow. It gives organization the so-called social license to operate. Is really this interest in how the world works, but also how people work, right? How they perceive things, how they actually, based on these perceptions, make judgments, and how these judgments then lead to certain types of behaviors. So why is it that people tend to support organizations? And why is it that people tend to resist or oppose organizations? So what is happening at the HEC Research Center for Grand Challenges? So on the one hand, we see a growing expectation within society to address these global challenges, topics related to sustainability and corporate social responsibility. And there's a common understanding that science and research has an important role to play. So here, I guess, as a research institution, we're trying to meet these expectations, also trying to provide scalable and actionable solutions, like also giving back to society. And on the other hand, also within research, within science, there is a growing consensus that we need to address these topics, right? So in a sense, the conversation is very much changing. For instance, in my field, in strategy and management, we used to have a very strong focus on shareholder value and profit maximization, but now there's more and more an understanding, okay, this is not enough. We need to include additional stakeholders, and we also need to shift our focus towards sustainability and topics related to social and environmental impact. How can the outside world learn from our research, and how can we better build the bridge between research and the world of practice? I mean, it's challenging because essentially both worlds have very different incentive structures. The world of research is very much focused on advancing our understanding of the world and publication as a means to advance this understanding. The world of practice, of course, is very much focused on staying profitable and being competitive in a profit-oriented market. So how to bridge this gap? I think there should be a gap in the sense that science must be independent and autonomous. I think research must not be driven purely by impact considerations, because we have stuff like basic research, foundational research, whose applicability is not yet clear. Trying to narrow the gap, but also trying to keep a healthy distance between the often very economic and instrumental needs of practice and our interest in advancing knowledge and insights. C'est tout? C'est fini? D'accord? C'était un plaisir.